Wow. These are, oh. Wow. These are some remarkable women here tonight. I am truly honored for this, appreciative. I can only add my kudos of expression of thanks to the dedicated, professional, committed staff at Business Publications for sponsoring this event each year, for putting it on, and for all that leads up to it to make it such a wonderful place to be here tonight. And of course, to the woman with the most influence, the wonderful Connie. I thank my dear friend Reka for nominating me for this tonight. What does it mean to be a woman of influence? I would guess that my fellow honorees, as I have the past few weeks, have been thinking about that for quite a bit. Let me proffer to the group that every woman in this room on this fine summer day is a woman of influence. Influence that she is aware of and for which she is known, or influence that she has not yet discovered. Who are the people who have been an influence in your life? Useful thing to contemplate. We've certainly heard some great examples tonight of that. As I thought about that, the answer came very quickly. Aside from my birth family, the first and very powerful influences in my life, and maybe there's a few people here who might identify with it, were several of the nuns who were teachers at St. Joseph's Academy here in Des Moines. Now that really dates me. I'm obviously the senior woman of influence here tonight. The nuns, without a doubt, were the first feminists. They modeled for us how a woman with personal confidence, nurtured by the camaraderie and love experienced in their community of supporters, and with skill sets acquired through education, how those women use their influence to lead the way for the young women of the future. The fact that they wore those strange habits was a great asset to them. At that time, I'm talking the 60s, few men would ever disagree with sister. There's been other standout influencers in my life and career. Two very dear to me are each of my husbands, now deceased. There's a quote from a 19th century British poet, Matthew Arnold, that I want to share with you. It's a statement that I have had visible in my homes wherever I have lived in at least the past 20 years. Here's what Arnold said: "If ever the world sees a time when women shall come together purely and simply for the benefit of mankind, there will be a power such as the world has never known." He speaks of the power of influence, a collective influence, and what that good can accomplish in the world. I have lived long enough to believe that that is true. I also believe that I and some of my peers won't live to see it happen, but that my granddaughter will. And that all our granddaughters and all our grandsons and nieces and nephews of those of us in this room will live to see the fruits of that influence. That's how powerful influence can be. Who are the influencers? Who are you influencing? Useful things to think about. In keeping with the theme and trying to keep within the minutes that allotted to us, I'm going to close with an idea that I hope will influence you. It's such a simple idea that shows how our collective influence could impact small joy in our community. Many of you are probably aware of the Heritage Carousel in Union Park, started in 1998 with an idea from one of our fabulous sages in our community, Buzz Brenton. He was an influencer. He initiated the concept of a carousel that ought to be located in a public park. So Union Park was selected to be that. A board was formed, still exists today, that supports the carousel. Think about this. The main goal of the carousel has always been to keep the ticket price at 50 cents for each child and $1 for a parent. They've been able to do that since 1998. So think about this. If half of us in this room took a $20 bill, maybe a $10 bill, maybe two 20s, and looked up Heritage Carousel and sent that to them, think of the kind of influence that we could have on fun for hundreds of kids for the next couple summers, maybe. Think about it. Think about how effective that influence could be if almost all of us in this room did something that simple. The power of influence. I can't end without inviting you to visit the Robert D. Ray Asian Garden and see the changes made to enhance it even more. Thank you much.